The plantation had been quiet for hours, and that's what should have terrified them. Because on August 21st, 1791, silence on a Haitian sugar plantation didn't mean peace. It meant 500 people had stopped pretending. The overseers noticed it first, the way enslaved workers moved through evening routines just a little too calmly, like actors who'd already read the final scene. And in less than 4 hours, that eerie quiet would explode into the revolution that made European empires lose sleep for the next 13 years. The sound of silence on a plantation isn't peaceful. It's terrifying. The sun's dropping fast, maybe 2 hours of light left, and the overseer, Jean-Baptiste, walks through the slave quarters like he does every evening, checking that everyone's where they're supposed to be. But tonight feels wrong. Usually they're singing, arguments, children playing, the normal chaos of 300 people crammed into wooden shacks after 16 hours in the cane fields. Tonight?
Where's the noise?
They're tired.
They're always tired. That's not new. But this silence, this is the most unsettling thing Jean-Baptiste has experienced in 12 years on this plantation. He just doesn't realize he's got about 4 hours before everything explodes. The weight of watching goes both ways on a plantation. Watching. Always watching. That's his job. Make sure nobody's planning anything, nobody's gathering in groups, nobody's whispering about freedom. And meanwhile, inside those cramped wooden shacks, 300 people are watching him right back. They know his routine. 7:30 every evening, he does his rounds. 8 o'clock, he heads to the main house for dinner. 9 o'clock he's back, checking one more time, before the night shift takes over. Except tonight, Jean-Baptiste breaks his pattern. He keeps circling back, peering through gaps in the walls, listening at doorways.
Something's wrong.
Nothing's wrong, they're sleeping.
But here's the thing about surveillance. It breeds paranoia, and Jean-Baptiste's paranoia is completely justified. Because right now, in the darkness of those shacks, people aren't sleeping. They're waiting, counting down the hours until midnight. Invisible threads connect every person on this plantation, and the overseers have no idea they exist. 9 o'clock. Jean-Baptiste finally heads to bed, and the moment he's gone, the real communication begins. But here's what makes this incredible. Nobody's actually talking. A woman named Marie walks to the well, fills her bucket, sets it down on the left side of the path instead of the right. That's the signal. The plan is still on. 2 shacks over, a man named Toussaint sees the bucket. He coughs twice. That tells the next group, midnight. Be ready. It wasn't long before the entire plantation knew. 300 people, all connected through movements so subtle that even if Jean-Baptiste had been watching, he wouldn't have understood what he was seeing. A child notices her mother sharpening a kitchen knife.
Why are you doing that now? It's nighttime. Go to sleep.
But the child doesn't sleep. She watches her mother wrap the knife in cloth, watches her father checking the door, watches neighbors moving silently between shacks like shadows, and so the invisible network hums. No words, no written plans, just generations of people who've learned to communicate under constant surveillance. 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock. The silence on the plantation gets heavier, more intentional, because now it's not fear keeping everyone quiet, it's focus. Every single person knows what's coming. They've all made the same impossible choice. In 1 hour, they're either going to be free or dead. There's no middle ground anymore. The threads are pulling tight. The hour before midnight is when everything changes. 11 o'clock, Jean-Baptiste wakes up in the main house. That uneasy feeling won't let him sleep. He gets dressed, grabs his rifle, and heads back outside. The plantation is darker than usual. Someone's put out half the torches.
Hey, who extinguished these lights?
And meanwhile, in the slave quarters, Marie stands in the center of her shack, her husband beside her, their daughter watching from the corner, 3 generations, all making the same choice.
Once we start, there's no going back. I know.
11:15, 11:30, 11:45. All across the plantation, the same scene plays out. Families gathering, tools being gripped like weapons, people stepping out of their shacks and moving toward the fields where the cane grows tall enough to hide an army. Jean-Baptiste sees the movement.
Sound the alarm! Sound the alarm!
But it's too late. The alarm bell rings out, and instead of scaring people back into submission, it becomes the signal everyone's been waiting for. Midnight. Someone lights the first torch, then another, then 50 more. The cane fields ignite like they've been soaked in oil. Flames leap 30 feet high, turning night into day. and the silence that's been building all evening finally breaks. Not with screams, but with something Jean-Baptiste has never heard before.
300 voices shouting in unison.
Not begging, not pleading. This is the moment history pivots, when ordinary people standing at the edge of the impossible make the only choice that matters, to step forward together, knowing there's no way back and that freedom is worth whatever comes next. The Haitian Revolution has begun,